So the next game in my pet bundle is this one, My Pet Hotel. Before anything else, I need to mention something really inconvenient about this game. There is no windowed mode option, and when you minimize the game or click out of it, it can't be brought back up. It kind of just stays bugged in this windowed mode, and you can't even interact with the game at all or bring any other window up. So I couldn't use my second monitor or click outside the game at all without needing to completely exit the game and reboot it. This made note taking and recording a pain in the butt. But anyway, My Pet Hotel was released in 2008 on the DS, I think. It's basically about you taking over your deceased great uncle's business and continuing to run it. What is with these pet games and having dying family members and you going to take over their businesses and farms and stuff? There are 3 different difficulty levels and 6 different scenarios to choose from. It says you can choose the scenario, but you really can't. You have to do the scenarios in order to unlock the following one. There is an info button available to explain what the scenario is, which is a nice touch, I have to say. It explains the types of animals you'll have, what's required to win, and what's required to lose. Right off the bat, it's not really stunning to look at, that's for sure. It definitely shows its age. I tried changing the resolution a few times, but it literally did nothing at all. There's no real directions on what to do either. Considering this was meant for kids, you'd think there'd be more of a tutorial. There's no tooltips on any of the buttons for the pet interactions or menu options either. Initially, moving around was kind of a pain until I realized that movement is like that of a Sims game, where I click, she will move. And when I queue up an action, she will do it. Although you can only queue up one action at a time, which kind of sucked because you had to wait for her to complete it before moving on to the next one. It also doesn't help that she moves at this snail's pace constantly. So for this first scenario, customers drop off their pets for me to watch them for varying amounts of time. Each pet has their own preferences that need to be accommodated during their stay. Yuri the tortoise likes cucumbers, while Darren the tortoise likes the play ring, for example. As I played, though, I figured out that you can completely ignore these extra needs and nothing will happen. As long as the pets are fed and the enclosure clean, they're fine. That's really unfortunate because it would have made for much more interesting and engaging gameplay had those preferences mattered. Something that confused me at first was the needs bar on the pets. For the food bar and the cleanliness bar, you don't want them to be there. The smaller they are, the better. But that's not true for the health bar. The fuller, the better. It was just confusing, especially with no explanation. You get rid of the cleanliness bar by cleaning the enclosures. There's different levels of cleaning, but I'm not sure what that means. And also, to clean, you're mopping the grass? That's strange, but okay. Oh, and the voice acting.
You're very welcome. I can't take care of my pet for a while. We only want the best care for our little darling.
Need I say more? In the house, there's feed bags where you can collect the feed needed for each pet, an office where you can look at the board to have an overview of the pet's needs, wants, etc., and a computer at which you can order more supplies. It's also possible to see these menus by pressing the buttons on the bottom right-hand corner. You can also upgrade your enclosures, which adds more decor, housing, and other little bits like that. Customers continue to come in and drop off animals as you care for each one. As they get picked up, more is dropped off. You continue doing this until you reach the goal of the current challenge. 8 p.m. is the end of each day, which are called rounds for some strange reason, at which time you get an overview of the pets dropped off, picked up, and the profit or expenses of the day. A huge complaint for me is that you cannot speed up time or end the day early. One in-game round is about 15 minutes real time, depending how often you open up menus, because while in a menu, the time stops. That's a long time to just be going back and forth to a couple of enclosures to check on the same pets over and over. I found myself standing idly quite often, especially on that first scenario. I would be scrolling TikTok or Instagram on my phone, just waiting for the clock to tick down. Not very engaging. The first scenario seriously dragged on and on. It got very repetitive and boring really fast. I finally finished it after, I think, 5 rounds. And then the second scenario introduced, what the heck is that? Apparently, that is a bird that resembles a parakeet. So the goals for this challenge were to get all the upgrades available for the enclosures. After I did that and built all the enclosure upgrades, it didn't take me into the next challenge. I struggled to figure out why and finally realized I needed to rebuy the toys and other decor options. See, this is where directions would be nice. Then, when I thought I had got them all yet again, I didn't progress. Apparently, you have to sort through all the animals on this menu, and they have separate upgrades to purchase. Again, some directions would have been nice. I finally unlocked the next pet, which was cats. You're able to take the cat for an awkward walk around the enclosure, which is new. Even with the introduction of new animals, it didn't add to the difficulty or entertainment of the game. Hardly any animals were getting dropped off, so again, I was just standing idly. There are 2 more animals to unlock, dogs and horses. And honestly, I'd probably love to see the horses, but I just decided not to continue playing because I believe I've got a strong understanding of everything the game has to offer. And honestly, watching paint dry would likely be more entertaining. I like the idea of the game had there been better execution of it. I used to work for a pet boarding facility, so seeing the pet care charts with the dates they were expected to be picked up made me excited. If they would have implemented special diets, medication distribution, and made the pet's preferences actually mean something, it would have made for a much more engaging experience. And of course, they need to fix the lack of a tutorial, the fact that there is no way to speed up time, the lack of tooltips, repetitive gameplay, ugly textures, and lack of a sandbox mode, just to name a few. I think this game would be way too confusing for a child and probably not very fun for one since it's more of a management type game, so I can't recommend it for a younger kid. If the game had been even slightly better executed, even with the poor graphic quality, I'd recommend it. Unfortunately, though, it's just too slow to get going and not entertaining enough as it is. So, it's a no-go from me. That was game 2 of 9 of my pet Steam pack. Please sub and hit that bell so you don't miss the rest of them. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. As always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye guys.